There's bad news for the agriculture sector this year. Skymet, a private weather forecasting service, has predicted below normal rainfall this monsoon. The weather agency says India is likely to receive 94% of the long period average rainfall during the June to September period. According to Skymet, there is a 40% chance of below normal rainfall, also 25% chance of normal rains, and a 20% chance of a drought this monsoon. The worst hit areas would be the northern and the central parts of India. Skymet has also blamed El Nino and Indian Ocean Dipole for these conditions. The government-owned IMD, the India Meteorological Department, is yet to give a date for its first forecast on the upcoming monsoon season as well. And we are now joined by G P Sharma, President, Meteorology and Climate Change at Skymet, for more on this. Welcome, sir, to Business Today TV, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. Well, these could be the first signs of worry. In fact, the latest reports that you have put out. Could you help all our viewers first understand what exactly do you mean by normal rainfall and normal monsoon this season, and also what exactly is El Nino?
Yeah, Sakshi, given a choice, one would like to break good news with the media, but somehow it is not a very pleasant one this time. We enjoyed good monsoon, above normal monsoon for the last consecutive 4 years. And after that, now this El Nino, which is generally, it's taken as a spoil sport as far as the Indian monsoon is concerned. More than one occasion, it has corrupt our monsoon. And there are many instances, and particularly the one which comes after having La Nina, that becomes a little more scary and dangerous, which is the case this time. So El Nino, as you asked, it's a basically warming of the Pacific Ocean, which is far from us. You can call it as a teleconnection. That warming of the Pacific Ocean as compared to what we have in the closer home, that is what gives rise to the El Nino conditions. Yeah. And these conditions, they are linked with having below normal or subpar monsoon over the Indian subcontinent. Almost about 75-80% of the occasion in the past, as per the records, that is linked with the below normal or drought. You see, Skymet has given a forecast now, 40 plus 20, 60% chance combined below normal plus drought. Okay. It is still a little early, though the monsoon is yet to take almost about 45 days plus to reach the mainland Kerala. But then the initial indications are that El Nino is growing. It should be coming up right at the time of onset of the monsoon and then growing thereafter. Particularly the second half, I look at a little more scary than what we start with. It may make a mild start, all right. Means June may be a little kind to us. It could be some decent rains we have. But as we go through the season, I'm afraid the rains are going to become few and few, lesser and lesser, and inadequate for most parts of the country in the subsequent months. Yes.
Right. Exactly, Mr. Sharma. And that's what we wanted to understand from you as to how big a worry could this be for India and the Indian economy. What does it really mean, first of all, for the food grain production in the country? Now, as we remember that, farmers typically start planting summer sown crops from June 1st when the monsoon rainfall usually hits India. Now, plantation then continues until early August as well. And in case you're saying there are higher chances of El Nino hitting, what could this really mean for food production then?
It's a dichotomy for the farmers, okay? They have to plan well in advance. They have in mind the crop cycles also, short cycle, decent cycle, or moderate cycle of the crop. But then the different types of crop, the different type of irrigation is needed, different type of the water levels are needed, particularly as compared to what we have in Rabi. Possibly, I think Kharif needs more water, these crops. You take the case of paddy, it needs more water as compared to what we have in case of wheat. So, and particularly the worry is the rain-fed areas are large in our country, particularly the central parts of the region, that is Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, even I will count Gujarat in that. These are the states which are highly dependent on monsoon rains. Rain-fed areas are large. unlike northern parts, Punjab and Haryana, where I feel they are a little better off as far as the other resources are concerned. But
Hmm.
then that also doesn't absolve even those states also. They
Yeah.
can't also live through the weaker monsoon as such. But then the worry becomes large because food production, obviously, it's a huge sector. Agriculture is a huge sector, and economy based on that, obviously, it takes a beat, a big bash also. Okay, so that is there on the card, and since it is happening after 4 years of having a normal monsoon, worry is becoming a little bigger. Though it's initial forecast now, initial forecast, because as you go closer to the event, the forecast is tends to become a little better. But I don't see anything happening good in the coming months. To start with, we take this as a real scare that the monsoon is going to be weaker during this season as such.
Hmm.
Yes.
Could this further feed into inflation, which has been a major concern for the common man out there, with inflation figures just about starting to ebb? Could this be just a very short relief for the common man right there in case there is below normal rainfall? Could this further fuel higher prices?
See, firstly, the crop cycle itself goes for a toss. Okay, the farmer also is in double-minded which crop to sow, which one to go for, like dalhan, tilhan, which we call it as all these crops, and along with paddy, that is the main crops in this
Yeah.
particular season as such. And the moment you change these cycles and the crops as such, obviously your food production that gets affected. And once the food production is affected, obviously it is clearly it influences the inflation part also. It goes without saying, weaker monsoon in any case, it is not a welcome sign, and it's a bad pronouncement for the agri sector as such. I hope that the situation, it doesn't go worse, because El Nino years have seen the worst of the monsoon also, where core monsoon month they observe very weak rainfall, which impacts large area, large pockets, and the agriculture they suffer in this case. Here also, like you said, we have given a 20% chance of drought
Yeah.
total, 40 plus 20, 40 below normal, 20 drought. That means 60%, which is a huge chance of having below normal rain, means insufficient, inadequate rains for all those areas where it matters most. Okay, so that is where the scare is. Yeah.
We were talking about the region-wise impact as well. You yourself in your report have mentioned the northern areas, central areas as the bigger impact. If you could also pronounce for all our viewers, which are the states that are at more risk to experience this?
Central and northern parts, they include Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, even Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and Maharashtra. Okay, there are some states like northeastern parts of the country, as such, their normal rainfall is much higher than what we have in the central parts and the northern parts. They possibly can bear with a little bit of deficiency, even if it is there. I think the 10% shortfall doesn't make much of a difference for them. Similar is the case even along the west coast, like coastal Karnataka, even Konkan region, place like Mumbai, which always have a rain scare in the monsoon months. Okay, so little deficiency of about 5, 10%, even a little more than that, that doesn't bother much those pockets. But surely I'm concerned that the central parts, which largely I will say interiors of Maharashtra,
Okay.
inclusive Vidarbha, Marathwada, these are the drought prone areas. And it gets aggravated when the El Nino conditions are there and monsoon is subpar, below normal. Even parts of Chhattisgarh, Bihar, Jharkhand, they are at risk. They are at risk of having below normal rainfall and
Yeah.
inadequate rains. But largely, I will consider a bigger scare for states of Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and the state of Uttar Pradesh. They are
A-
at a bigger risk.
And which
Yeah.
are the states that are at more risk of a drought right there, which you've mentioned like a small percentage, there could be a risk of a drought as well?
See, the drought conditions always come up where the rainfall normals as such are low. Obviously, they are at bigger risk.
Okay.
as such, the normal rainfall is low. Any deficiency of 10-15% in that drags them to a drought, which includes your central parts of the country, states like Gujarat, Rajasthan, and Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra. Once again, I repeat that these are the states which are at bigger risk for having drought conditions. Parts of Uttar Pradesh and even the eastern states, which include your states of Chhattisgarh, Orissa, they also form a part of this as such,
Sure.
totally, which are at bigger risk.
Sure,
Yes.
understood that. Mr. Sharma, if you could also help us understand that, apart from El Nino, what are the other factors that could influence monsoons?
Monsoon as such is a very complex phenomena. And when you add El Nino to that, it becomes really complicated. Okay. To decipher that, decode monsoon has always been a challenge and it will remain a challenge because I don't think we have sufficient studies and the infrastructure as such to decode it to the last extent. Okay.
Yeah.
That is not there. So we have to live with this scare. El Nino, in any case, it doesn't tell you which all pockets will be affected most. But then, based on the climatology, we have seen a number of El Ninos in the last about 50 years. So you have developed a pattern now that whenever the El Nino is there, which all pockets are at bigger risk than the other, which possibly could get away with the marginal deficiency over those areas. So when we consider those pockets during the El Nino, during this period, the core monsoon months, they are affected more. And in this case, the second half of the season, that is August and September, they are more aberrated, looks like. They're more aberrated than the first half. It may not start with a bang as such, but then the mild start will be there. June, I don't expect it will give a bigger scare. But the worry being that June, even northern parts of the country, even parts of Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, monsoon as such, even if it arrives on time, it doesn't reach those parts in the month of June. So those parts, they have basically 2 months of monsoon, that is July and August, part of September. So month of June, it is more crucial for these southern parts, which I feel that the southern parts, which include parts of Karnataka, Kerala, even Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, up to Telangana also. So they will have a good start, I will say, decent start to the monsoon. But as we proceed, as we go through the season, we can expect it getting diluted, and then the scare becomes bigger halfway through the monsoon.
Okay, so any chances that we can see any signs of El Nino receding?
I don't think so. Actually, it's growing. It's on the other side. Okay. El Nino pattern, normally you see it starts in the month of April and it peaks in the month of October, November. This is the normal pattern. And once again, towards fall of the year, like towards December or January, it has a tendency to again slow down. Okay, that is the normal pattern. And exactly this is what is happening during this time. So it is coming up now. By the time the monsoon starts, that's in the month of June itself, it is a fair amount of possibility, more than 40%, 45% chance. And halfway through the season, it goes and rises to about 60%, which is huge. It is almost looking similar to pattern to which we observed in 2018. And we know we had a scare of drought even in 2018 also. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Sharma, for sharing with us and all our viewers all these insights about the predictions going forward as far as monsoons are concerned. After 4 years of consecutive above normal rainfall, this could be a well challenging year because of the threat of El Nino rising right here. There could be challenges on the food production part and therefore the impact on price rise going forward. Challenges for the farmers and challenges for the common man do remain going forward as well. But many thanks for being with us, and we shall continue to touch base with you to understand more about the insights from Skymet going forward as well.
Thank you, Sakshi.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.